Principle number 5, the principle of receptiveness. Good morning, friend. You are my companion, a companion on the path, a struggling companion, and I greet you as such. In the name of all the people of the eons, centuries, and ages, the people that have received this message and have reflected and meditated and decided to carry it through in their lives, in the name of all these people, I greet you. My friend, can you mentally review everything that has happened in your life during the past week? Isn't it true that you have experienced pleasant and unpleasant times? Isn't it true that you have enjoyed certain happy occasions and as well somewhat sad ones or adverse situations and just about everything else? And it is the same for everybody, you see. This life has everything a mind can imagine. It's full of all kinds of experiences. We live in a dual planet under the law of polarity. Everything is made of two parts, good and bad, hot and cold, hunger and satisfaction, to be alone or to have company, to be sad or to be happy, to feel vigorous or tired, good mood or bad mood, to tell the truth or lie, to opt for right or wrong, the real or the illusion, the wanting to do and the act of doing, and so forth. Our entire life is made of these dualities or polarities. Now then, how do you respond to these experiences? What happens to you when you come across an unfortunate situation? How do you face it? Are you afraid? We all are. Afraid of criticism, afraid of loneliness, fear of lacking things, fear of being rejected, of failure, sickness, old age, and death. Many fears are located in the deepest part of our hearts. We also want things. We desire things. We have all kinds of wishes and needs. Every day the wheel of life will put you before these situations, and according to your essence, according to your being, you are attracting that which you love and that which you fear. Now, you try to run away from what you would dislike, that which causes you pain, suffering, sadness. You look instead to that which you find pleasant, right? Yes, my friend, we are this way. But if we select from our situations those things we like and run away from those situations we fear, those that are painful, we give ourselves over to involution or experience regression in our lives. The only result will be to go backwards into more and more of the same. Isn't it paradoxical? Think about it, and you'll see that this way will take us backwards. You must be asking yourself if there is a way to change this situation. That is, if it is possible for the wheel of life to bring us only whatever we like. No, my friend, this is not possible. The wheel carries everything we need in this life. It has everything in its dual form for us to learn from. No, it is not possible, my friend. So then, what is the answer, you ask? My friend, we live in a cosmos of order, in a universe created by an intelligent creator. And this cosmos is governed by laws and principles. These are perfect laws and wise principles that, if a person gets to know, understand, and practice them in his life, instead of falling backwards, he will simply move forward. He will experience liberation as an individual. He will free himself from the wheel of circumstances and events. This person will himself become the master of circumstances and will be capable of managing himself when facing any situation that shows itself in his life. The fifth of the 12 principles for the liberation of man is the appropriate principle to handle the so much desired liberation of the person, plus the control over himself and towards all other circumstances in life. The principle states the following: if the dualities, good or bad, up or down, and so forth, if the dualities that life presents you do not bother or upset your life, you have overcome life's contradictions. I repeat, the fifth principle states, if the dual nature of this life is not an obstacle to you in life, you have overcome its contradictions. What is the precise meaning of this? What is the meaning of night and day, and the summer and winter being right or wrong for you? It simply means that if you can adjust and feel well to night and day, to hot and cold, to summer and winter, to hunger or not, to be alone or not, to be with or without money, in any occasion, and that you can remain firm and in control no matter what the occasion, you will have already overcome the contradictions of life. I can hear you wondering, why do we have to overcome the contradictions? Because a person full of contradictions has not overcome these situations, has not balanced them. Simply put, is going backwards, or at least not advancing in his life. This person is trapped in a vicious circle. What is a contradiction? It is when your mind knows that something must be done and your emotions will not do it. This is a contradiction. It is when, in your emotional center, you feel like doing something, but your mind knows that you should not do it. This struggle is known as a contradiction. It is like having in front of you a delicious dish, but in your mind you have made the decision to eat less and should not take it. Here you have a contradiction between the mind and the body. We are basically made of three centers, plus a will. We have a physical body, a body of desires, an emotional body where our power and strength is, a mental body where we have the thoughts and ideas, our goals, and the will, more or less strong according to the individual. The contradiction arises when the will, the conscious part of you, knows that something must be done, and any of the other centers refuses to do it. This is a contradiction. Your needs are in your mind. That which you love and fear is in your emotions. Your physical body is used to tastes and feelings, and it is ruled by 5 senses: taste, smell, touch, vision, and hearing. And these 5 senses turn into sex, which is the 6th sense. These 6 senses connect you with the world about you. Your emotional center, which is somewhat impulsive, is the one that produces fear in you and your mind, which carries all the ideas and thoughts you have received since you started learning, participates with your other parts. You have constant clashes between your mind, your emotions, your body, and your will. This is the area of your contradictions. This 5th principle is saying that if you are able to balance the polarities, the dualities, that life throws at you in your daily life experiences, if you can adapt to them, simply put, you are able to overcome your contradictions and are on your way to become a free person. When a person remains unable to overcome his contradictions between his body, mind, emotions, and his will towards a common end, this person has not yet arrived at his liberation and needs to work in this area. My friend, we all have contradictions. We are full of them. But in itself, this is not the problem. The problem is not to be aware that we have them. The problem is if we can wake up to them to realize that contradictions are a part of this life, that they exist so that we can learn what to do about them. Let's look at these contradictions and see what they're made of. What is day and night? Why do we understand them to be different? Get a stick, any stick. Hold it in your hand at one end, whatever end you choose. Call one end night and the other day. The whole stick is 24 hours. One end can be called cold, the other hot, and in the middle it is warm. One end could be the light, the other darkness, and in the middle twilight. At one end you could have pleasure, and in the other pain, and so on. Now this stick, which represents all things, also has each end representing one of the centers within us. The day could be your mind, while the night could be your emotions, and the body the middle point. Think about this, for it is extremely important for your understanding and for you to later master this fifth principle. Remember, to go forward, you will have to overcome your contradictions. Our mind has its part in our dualities. We think about comfort, wealth, love. We think about success. We think about kindness. All of these extremes are in our minds. But our emotional center has something different that it contributes to our contradictions. It thinks in terms of fear, of failure, sickness, being able to pay the bills. The spouse might run away. Children are not learning. I might be fired from work. And on and on and on. There are thousands and thousands of bits of information in your mind, and all of them are extremes. Thousands of ideas in your emotions, and they also are all extremes. And then there are thousands of habits, all mixed within your physical body, bringing out your tendencies. This information or data, which resides in your emotional center, is female in nature. The information that resides in your mind is male. To conciliate or balance the contradictions between the two is to marry them so that they can give birth to a child, which would be the harmony with both. And in this way, you will have overcome a contradiction. How do you do this? Let's assume that in a given moment you were sad. Try to remember such a moment and hold it in your mind. Let's see how the fifth principle can help us with this instead of just feeling sad and miserable. If you think about your stick, you'll see that on the opposite side of sadness is happiness. Automatically, your feeling of sadness will be changed into something between the two, overcoming the original contradiction. If over and over for each time you have the tendency to feel sad, or any other extreme, do this, and you will overcome your contradictions. This is how the great secret of the fifth principle in the principle of liberation helps you to adjust to your inner life. You must adapt. My friend, I repeat, don't be worried by the fact that you are full of contradictions. On the contrary, the more contradictions a person carries, the wealthier that person is. A large amount of mental information carried by a person means that the person has had many experiences in life, giving him a wealth of experience stored in his mental, emotional, and physical centers. Such a person is wealthy. The opposite has to also be true. Few experiences, little information stored in the centers yielding few contradictions, makes that person poor. A person, to achieve liberation, must have complete self-control, full control of circumstances within his or her little world by having overcome all contradictions. This work which we're outlining for you in this fifth principle can last you many years. This is not a job for a few days, nor for failures. This is a task for people who don't want to continue the way they are now on. It is for those who want to experience evolution, who want to become better people, better citizens, better parents, better husbands, better friends, better companions, and have in them a strong desire to learn, to act, and to evolve. It is for people who are tired of swinging like a pendulum between joy and sadness, failure and accomplishment, fighting and agreements, of feeling well today and indisposed tomorrow. The wild mood swings that life seems to throw at us is not for those who want to understand the laws that govern duality, our polarities, the wild pendulum swings of life. My friend, get yourself a paper and pencil. Write down the tendencies and the tastes of your physical body. What do you like to smell? What do you like to taste? What do you like to touch? What do you like to hear? And what do you like to watch? Then, what do you dislike physically? What is it that you do not like to hear, that you do not like to watch, eat, or touch? Then do the same for your emotional center. What fears do you have? What do I fear? Write down what you do not want. What is it that you do not love? Write them down as well. Then write down everything that you love, all that you want emotionally. Then let's go to the mental part. What are your favorite thoughts? What are the thoughts that keep you positive? What are the thoughts that make you a pessimist? What do you criticize in others? Write down the names of 7 people that you know well, and record what you do frequently criticize about them. Then everything that you like about those people. Also, write down what you most criticize about our society. What is it that you would like the most about our society? What do you largely complain about in the world, in nature? And then the items that you like the most about the same. What is it that you do not want to happen to you under any circumstances? What do you most want to happen to you? All of these questions and answers you must work at for the next 49 days. Every single day during 49 days you must ask yourself these questions and answer them honestly, just as if it was always the first time. This will show you what kind of information you have within you, in your mind, in your emotions, your physical body. You will understand your extremes, the polarities you live with. Once you see what your contradictions are, you will have taken the first step toward freedom from them. You must be fair. You must be unbiased and objective. This means you must ask the questions and give the answers as if you would be making this analysis for some other person. You must start from the principle that your body is not you, as if it was the body of John Brown, with the tastes and emotions of John Brown, or the emotions of Charles Smith and the ideas of Michael Jones. That is, as if it was not you. This is fundamental. In fact, it is the key. And remember that during the 49 days, you have to do this analysis. At the end of each day, get paper and pencil and ask yourself the following question. Which events and circumstances have I come across today? Have I liked them? And which ones have I disliked? From which ones did I want to run away? And which ones have I looked for? To which of my centers does this situation pertain? Was my reaction to that situation mental, emotional, or physical? If I spent time looking for something, was this an emotional, mental, or physical reaction? And don't forget the situations related to sexual activity. Remember, they are the joining of the three centers. The sexual center is the result of the joining of the mind, emotions, and physical body. My friend, you must be patient with yourself. What you find in your body, your mind, and your emotions is not important. What your fears are is not important, nor are your expectations. What you're made of does not matter, neither the information within you. That same information that came through your five senses from your life experiences. What does matter is that you can manage these things. Dear friend, the second part of this principle is the fifth step to be accomplished, which leads to the liberation as an individual, so he can own and govern himself before all circumstances of his life. Remember, this principle states that if you are not bothered by your life situations, mental, emotional, physical, external, or internal, you have overcome your contradictions and will be a man or woman with free will, with freedom of choice, and can have the obedience of his or her body, mind, and emotions. Such a person that can take advantage of any circumstance that the wheel of life can and will place before them. This will be a person no longer looking for individual or particular tastes. A person that has understood that behind the taste for something good, there is a bad taste of its opposite. A human being who is aware that behind the desire for something, there is another side that must come with it, and that he will also get because of the laws of life. You should meditate and think about this. Visualize yourself as a free person, an individual who eats whatever is presented to him, who does not ask for special dishes, but accepts anything that is offered, an open-minded person that can defend himself in any forthcoming situation, a person that can understand any fear or worry, a human being that can put aside any desire, individual that can think anything he wants to think about, and that knows what to do with the thoughts that enter his mind from the external world. A person that feels at ease with anybody, without any consideration for culture, social, political, or educational differences. A person that feels fine if he is under the rain, whether it is hot or cold. A person that knows what to do if he has a coin or 1,000,000 coins in his pocket. A person whose internal state of mind does not depend on situations, circumstances, or events. Not anything but on himself and on his own will. A man that can handle any activity. A person that can handle any other person. A human being that can set his mind to doing something and will be able to carry it through with the persistence and the tenacity necessary to complete the task. A person that wakes up in the morning with no fears towards life, without worries of what the day is going to bring him. An individual that is looking into the creation of situations and circumstances according to his needs, according to what he has planned in meeting his goals. A person that is awake. This, my friend, is an approximate description of what a free person is like. Would you like to be this person? Very well. If your decision is a yes, then you must finish this exercise in the first part. After the 49 days, after the part has passed, after you have seen that you are tied down by many tastes, that you are a slave of many worries, fears, situations, and in most cases that you do not look for new experiences. You keep trying to repeat the same ones over and over like a machine, the same situations that you know are not going to hurt you. My friend, you have been what is called dead, like a vegetable, or like a person who watches the same movie every day. Do you like to watch the same movie every day? Do you repeat over and over your favorite dishes? Nothing is new. You repeat every day the same situations. Look for the same circumstances, the same people. You are a slave of your tastes, your contradictions, and your habits. Now then, make a comparison from the type of human being you are today with the prototype of the free individual we indicated earlier. Simply stated, the difference is only a little work. Some work from a serious person, from a person that can understand, a person that is capable of deciding to make something better out of his life. Open up a notebook, divide it into 3 parts. A part for the physical body, the second part for the mental, and the third for the emotional body. Gather the analysis you did during the 49 days of observation you made of yourself, both internal and external. The analysis of your tastes and dislikes. Write them all down on the pages so that you can have a fairly complete image and idea of where you are standing and where you will want to go from here. Then, with the same 7 people that you previously selected, the people that you trust, people that you see often, set your mind into observing their tastes, fears, and dislikes. Everything that you criticize in the world is in you. All faults that you find in the world are within you. All the faults of society you have also. All faults that your fellow human beings have, you have them too. Let's call these marks on a stick. As an example, if you criticize a friend about being selfish, it is because you are selfish. This means that in your emotional center, there is a mark on the tip of the stick called selfishness. Your calling your friend selfish is an internal hint, an invitation for your will to decide to be the opposite, which will then create the opposite in your mind. The selfishness and the altruism will conciliate to a middle point that will then stop being either but a point in between. You will have conciliated the contradiction between your mind and your emotions. So all faults or defects, everything that you dislike, you have within yourself as an extreme, and you must search for the possibility and opportunity to balance them now that you recognize them. Do this, then be alert and attract new extremes and balance them. This is the road we took. You can too. The same goes for everything that you like in your mind, emotions, and body, because they are opposed to the situations that the wheel of life will bring your way too. What would you do in these situations? Avoid them? No, my friend. I will give you a way. Let's assume you dislike heat, and suddenly the wheel of life places you in circumstances where the weather is very hot. If at this moment you remember and decide to carry through with this message, you will simply ask yourself, what is the good about this? What do I like about all this heat? How can I take advantage of this situation? You see, with this approach, you are not avoiding a situation. You are not bothered because it's hot. On the contrary, you have become conscious of the need to balance the bad heat with the good, solving your contradiction. In every situation, no matter how horrible it may be, the seed of balance lies in it. Before every unpleasant situation you encounter, every occasion that places you in a difficult position, ask yourself the question, what is good about this? If you do it honestly and with sincerity, then you will immediately be able to see the good within a bad situation. This is the secret key to adaptation, the secret key to adjustment. After a fair number of times that you use this technique, you will notice your activities will be relatively free from worries or fear, because you will know what action to take in each circumstance. How will you know what to do? What's the good of this situation? What will I learn from it? Even if you only know that it is something you do not like, your mind and spirit will bring you out for many alternative answers or ideas that will make you feel you're working and solving the situation well, even in the worst of situations. My friend, the second part of executing this plan consists of the following things. For 49 days, every night and every morning when you go to bed and when you wake up in the morning, you will have to relax, shut your eyes, and meditate about everything that you love and about everything that you fear. Example, shut your eyes, be calm and relaxed, and have your notebook handy. Ask yourself, what do I want? Let's suppose I want my salary raised. Start meditating about the opposite. What is going to happen if I do not get the raise? Let's suppose that you are afraid of criticism. Then ask yourself, what happens if I am criticized? See it on your mental screen, a picture where you can see yourself being criticized, where you are being told that you are lacking in something, that you are a horrible person. Visualize this as if it were a movie, but do not identify with yourself. Then suddenly you'll see what's missing for you to balance the situation. What do you need in this condition? Right, the opposite of being criticized, and from it you can work out the contradiction. Out of what is good or bad in your mind, you are placing the opposite into your emotions, and vice versa. Imagine that you are eating something that you really dislike. See it in the eyes of your imagination. Then, during the day, keep on requesting this dish. This is how to do it, my friend. This is the way. For 49 days, do this for 5 minutes in the morning and for the same amount of time when you go to bed every night. Include all things that you wrote about in your analysis. Another example would be that of your being afraid of dying. Well then, place this into meditation. Visualize on your mental screen that you are dying in the middle of terrible suffering. This way you are facing the fear of death. The key to this system is that the mind cannot differentiate between a real and an imaginary experience. Another example, suppose you start to think about a person you like a lot at this time. Shut your eyes and visualize him or her in your mind. What happens? Isn't it true that your body and emotions start to react? Isn't it true? But it's only a picture in your mind. It's not a reality. But for our system, it is as if it was a live and real experience. Make a routine of this every day, when you wake up and when you go to bed at night. Place yourself in front of everything that you fear or dislike, and everything that you do not love. Also place yourself before the possibility of not getting what you like, love, or desire. Then be alert during your day. Look for those situations. Face these situations with a new confidence. And when you are in front of something adverse, ask yourself, what is good about this? What can I get out of this which will benefit me? If for you all is well with the day and night, summer and winter, being satisfied or hungry, poor or loaded with money, and so forth, and if you are in harmony and peace in all these situations, you will have conciliated the contradictions in your life. You will be a person who can act as needed. It all depends on what you do with these instructions and guidance found in this message and your reactions toward them. Are you a hard-skinned person? Do unexpected events bother you? Or are you the type that is hurt by the blows of life? Or the type of person that is not satisfied with his current life? This fifth principle is closely related to the previous four, and perhaps you are already aware of that. But just in case you are not, please find the previous four principles and then go to the next 7 so that you can have the complete set of 12. The 12 principles of the liberation of man are closely connected. They have an intimate connection. All carry concrete action plans for you or for any other human being of goodwill who has understood that we live in a cosmos of order. It is for those who suspect that things are not gotten only because they want them or feel they would like having them, but suspect everything carries a price with it, a fair price, and is governed by precise laws. If you work with these laws and are ready to pay the price, you will get what you want and much more. You will become a free person, master over your circumstances, of your mind, and of your emotions. Now comes the third part, the implementation of this fifth principle. It is very simple. You will not succeed with the first two parts unless you are ready to pay the price, and the price is simple. The price is not in any coin. It is the same way we have transmitted it to you. When you get the benefit from it and become liberated, give it to 7 of the closest people to you, people like you. These two are people who are swinging on their own pendulum between light and darkness, knowing and not knowing, and need your help in putting to work in their lives. Perhaps you were fortunate to receive this message. Will they receive it too? Wouldn't you like it if your world was full of light? Wouldn't you like to be a free person among free people? Or do you want to be a free person surrounded by friends, acquaintances, and family that are slaves of their circumstances, of their tastes and fears, and of their ideas? My friend, I know you are judicious and understanding because you have continued up to this point. I will leave the rest up to you, to your conscience. I will leave the rest to your kindness, to the innate kindness that our common Creator has planted in the spirit of each of His creatures. The content of this message is waiting for you. It is for you to use in your life plan, your part in the plan of creation that our common Father is hoping you will accomplish. This He expects from you. It is for your future action, yours, individually yours, like a perfect suit for you. Your plan cannot start overcoming your mind, your emotions, unless you own yourself and your circumstances. It is senseless if it reaches you and you remain content being a slave of your mind, your body, and your emotions, and the circumstances of the wheel of life. But if you have been searching for years for something you feel is yours, well, please know it does exist. And yes, it is for you. You will be in harmony and productive, and will contribute in making this world a perfect world, such as it was when it was conceived and created by our common Creator. We ourselves doubted when we were at your point in life, but we meditated and worked at it. We paid our price. When we finally comprehended, we received our life plans. Know that you can too, a plan that benefits you directly and your small world. It also benefits your community and benefits humanity in general. It benefits nature, something that you have been able and waiting for thousands and thousands of years, reincarnation after reincarnation. This can be yours now. It only depends on you. In your hands are the principles and how to incorporate them into your life. You can make your life into a heaven or hell. It is up to you. Remember, in you beats the spark of your Creator, the all-powerful spark, almighty, unlimited in knowledge. It could guide you in the process of your moving into the realization of the laws of life. Success does not depend on luck. Success, harmony, peace, balance, the elimination of problems and conflicts depend on including the laws of light in your life. You have in your hands one of these laws. Apply it day after day, morning and night. Do not permit yourself to judge and criticize. Be especially alert to the side in you that thinks it knows everything. We have passed through the point where you are now. You do not know how to arrive at the same place where we are now. So be aware of the enemy within you, the side that always tries to keep you grounded in failure and ignorance. We know this is hard, so we ask you to be patient with yourself. If you do not apply it your first try, do it over and over again until you do, because you will not experience evolution unless you walk through this door. If you do not do it today, you will have to do it some other day. The only way to be able to get through it is by being governed by laws and principles. There is a reason why our common Creator has provided them for our use. Otherwise, how would we be able to find the way back home? And remember, part of the price you pay for having received these messages is to help 7 people to accomplish their liberation. So, my friend, this is all in your hands now. May God bless you, care for you, and keep you. May you receive the light, the courage, and strength when you start to take the necessary steps. Thank you.